93% of all data breaches begin not with a hacker typing furiously at a keyboard, but with a single human being making a perfectly reasonable decision based on completely false information. That is not a guess. That is documented reality. And the scariest part is that the people who fall for these attacks are not uninformed or careless. They are doctors, engineers, executives, and cybersecurity professionals. The most sophisticated digital weapon ever built is a conversation. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover exactly how social engineering works at a psychological level, why the smartest people are often the most vulnerable targets, and the specific techniques attackers use that most security courses never explain in full detail. We will walk through real attacks, real consequences, and the counterintuitive truth that technical defenses alone cannot stop these threats. There is one manipulation method so effective that intelligence agencies have used it for decades, and it works just as well in a corporate email today as it did in a Cold War debriefing room. Social engineering is not new. The term itself entered mainstream security language in the 1990s, largely through the influence of Kevin Mitnick, once the most wanted computer criminal in the United States. But the practice is ancient. Con artists, spies, and manipulators have exploited human psychology for centuries. What changed in the digital age is the scale, the speed, and the precision. An attacker today does not need to be in the same city as their target. They do not even need to know their target personally. With publicly available information from LinkedIn, Facebook, and company websites, they can construct a convincingly detailed identity and backstory in under an hour. The psychological foundation of social engineering rests on 6 core principles identified by psychologist Robert Cialdini: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. Every single social engineering attack you have ever heard of exploits at least one of these. Most exploit several simultaneously. When someone receives a call from a person claiming to be from IT support who says their account has been flagged and needs immediate verification, that attack uses authority, urgency, which connects to scarcity, and the natural human desire to be cooperative. The target is not being foolish. They are responding to deeply wired social instincts that evolved over thousands of years to help humans function in communities. Phishing remains the most common entry point. In 2023, the Anti-Phishing Working Group reported over 4.9 million phishing attacks in that year alone. But what most people imagine when they hear phishing is a badly spelled email from a Nigerian prince. Modern phishing looks nothing like that. Spear phishing targets specific individuals using personalized information. An attacker might reference a real project the target is working on, name their actual manager, or mention a recent company event. The email feels legitimate because it contains legitimate details, gathered through open-source intelligence gathering before the attack even begins. One documented attack against a major financial institution started with an attacker spending 3 weeks studying a single employee on social media. They learned the employee's name, their job title, their manager's name, the software tools their company used, and the fact that the employee had just returned from a company conference in Chicago. The phishing email referenced the conference, appeared to come from internal IT, and asked the employee to log into a portal to access shared conference materials. The employee complied. Within 48 hours, the attacker had credentials that allowed lateral movement through the entire network. But here is what nobody talks about. The most dangerous form of social engineering does not happen over email at all. Phishing, or voice phishing, has a dramatically higher success rate because human beings are biologically wired to trust a real-time voice conversation in ways they are not wired to trust text. A caller who sounds confident, uses internal jargon, and creates mild urgency can extract sensitive information in minutes. In one famous penetration testing demonstration, a trained tester called a large retail chain's help desk and convinced a technician to reset credentials for an account within 7 minutes, using nothing but confidence, corporate-sounding language, and a fabricated story about a system outage affecting a regional manager. The success rate of phishing attacks against corporate help desks in controlled studies is consistently above 60%. Read that again. More than half of all simulated voice attacks in professional testing environments succeed in extracting credentials or sensitive access. Pretexting is the art of constructing an elaborate false identity or scenario before the attack begins. It is the scaffolding that makes every other technique more effective. A pretext might be as simple as impersonating a vendor or as complex as creating a fake LinkedIn profile, building it out over months, connecting with employees at the target organization, and then leveraging those connections to appear trustworthy before making any request. In 2020, a Twitter employee was socially engineered by attackers who posed as internal Twitter IT staff. Those employees then used their access to hijack high-profile accounts including Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Elon Musk as part of a cryptocurrency scam that netted over $100,000 in a matter of hours. The technical breach was almost irrelevant. The human breach was everything. Physical social engineering is less discussed but remains devastatingly effective. Tailgating, where an attacker physically follows an authorized person into a secure facility, succeeds in security audits at rates that would shock most corporate security teams. Studies conducted by physical penetration testers show that in the majority of attempts, someone will hold a door open for a stranger who looks like they belong, especially if that stranger is carrying something, appears busy, or makes brief friendly eye contact. The social cost of challenging a stranger in a professional environment feels higher to most people than the abstract risk of letting them in. What makes social engineering so resistant to traditional defenses is that it does not exploit software vulnerabilities. It exploits behavioral tendencies. A firewall cannot stop a phone call. Antivirus software cannot detect a confident tone of voice. Encryption does not help when the authorized user hands over their own credentials willingly. This is why organizations spend billions on technical security and still get breached. The attacker simply goes around the technology by going through the people. Security awareness training helps but is not a complete solution. Research published in the journal Computers and Security found that employees who completed phishing awareness training showed significantly improved detection rates, but those rates degraded substantially within 6 months without reinforcement. Human memory, particularly under stress or distraction, is not a reliable security control. This is why security culture, not just security training, is what separates organizations that resist social engineering from those that repeatedly fall victim to it. The most sophisticated attacks combine multiple techniques in sequence. The attacker begins with open-source intelligence gathering. They follow that with a low-stakes interaction designed to establish trust. Then they escalate to the actual extraction of information or access. This is called a multi-stage attack, and it mirrors the exact methodology used by state-sponsored intelligence services. The same approach North Korean hackers used to infiltrate cryptocurrency firms in 2023, sending elaborate fake job offers to developers and then deploying malware through the interview process, is structurally identical to techniques documented in Cold War-era espionage manuals. Defending against social engineering requires a combination of awareness, process, and culture. Verification protocols that require employees to confirm identities through a separate channel before acting on any unusual request are among the most effective individual controls. A simple rule: if someone asks you to do something unusual and you cannot independently verify who they are through a channel you initiated yourself, do not comply, would have stopped the majority of documented social engineering breaches. Organizations that implement mandatory callback verification for sensitive requests, regardless of how legitimate the initial contact appears, dramatically reduce their attack surface. Zero Trust architecture extends this principle to the technical layer, but the human layer must reflect the same skepticism. Employees need psychological permission to challenge requests, to ask questions, and to delay compliance without feeling rude or obstructive. Attackers rely on social pressure. Removing that pressure removes much of their power. The sobering conclusion is this: as long as human beings are part of any system, that system will have a social engineering vulnerability. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to CyberShield Daily for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.